Now that we have our satellite dish on the side of the house here, there's one thing that I forgot to mention to you, which is you absolutely have to have a clear view of the southern sky. In other words, there can't be any houses, vehicles, trees in the way. It just has to be an unobstructed view. Now, I'm going to take you through a couple different scenarios on how to set this up. The first is, I understand that there are some people that have dish network service at home, and they like to take the receiver out of their home and bring it with them camping or tailgating. And that's fine if you do that. However, there's an extra step. You have to tell the receiver to forget about all the satellites that it knows, because we're going to be using the 72-degree satellite from Dish Network that provides, I believe, most or if not all of their HD programming. For those of you that have a dedicated receiver like this VIP 211K, you don't need to do this step. So let's start off by pretending that this is the receiver that we took out of our house, and we'll clear the configuration so that it's ready to accept the Dish Network programming. So to do that, we're going to press, after we powered it on, we're going to press the menu button, and then we're going to choose option number 6, System Setup. And then we're going to choose option number 1, Installation. And then we're going to choose option number 1, Point Dish. A quick and easy way of doing that is pressing Menu 611, and you're at this screen. Now, to make the receiver that we took out of our home forget about the receiver, the satellites that it knows about, we're going to press the up arrow button to highlight Check Switch, and then we're going to press the Select button. Then we'll come to a new screen, and the Test button will be highlighted. If it's not, use the arrow keys, so it is, and then press the Select button. Now, it'll come up and tell you, please wait while your switch installation is checked. In several minutes, and I notice this time varies, I've even spent waiting up towards 10 minutes for it to happen, so please be patient. I won't make you wait during this because we've already done it. But you will get the message that says, are you sure you wish to proceed with fewer satellites? It is recommended that you never remove satellites from your configuration. By saving this setting, you will lose visibility of some channels. And that's a good thing. So at that screen, you want to choose Save, and then it'll come up again and it'll say, are you sure you want to do that? And you'll select Yes, Save again. And then you will be back at this screen. That is the only thing different you need to do every time you take the receiver out of your house and you want to bring it with you. Now, when you get it back in the house, you'll of course have to come back and click Check Switch, but that should all work out pretty easy for you. So now that we have everything connected, we still don't have our satellite connected. We don't want to do that yet. We want to set up some options on here. The 211K doesn't know about the 72-degree satellite, so it can't tell you what the elevation is. Now, they may add that in the future. If they do, you can select your zip code, and then it'll tell you the elevation. But this particular receiver, they haven't done that with yet. So that's where the instruction manual comes in really handy. You got to make sure you keep this satellite elevation coverage map for when you're setting that up. It's very, very important. So we're going to tell the receiver what we want to do. We want to tell it that we want a dish system 300, and you can use the arrow keys and scroll up and down and select different options. We got to make sure that's on 300. The next thing we want to do is set the transponder to 21. So we'll use the up arrow keys to go to 21, and then you want to make sure the satellite is at 72. Once you do this, let's press the right arrow button so that the Done button is highlighted, and we are done with setting up the receiver. So the next step that we want to do is take our coax cable. Remember that we don't have power applied to the dish yet. We're going to plug this into the back of the satellite receiver, and there's a port on the back there called SAT in. So I'll screw this in real quick. It just needs to be finger tight. Please don't use a wrench. Nice and snug is good enough. So after we do that, Then it's time to plug it into the power. This satellite dish does not require power all the time, only while you're aiming it. It's a very important thing to know. Now, if you don't have a 12-volt power outlet readily available, like we don't, we can use a power inverter, and it basically takes 110 volts and converts it down to 12 volts. But this particular setup really works well. If you have a vehicle near you, you can just plug it in the cigarette lighter and go real quick. So we're going to plug that in. And the dish, let's go take a look at it real quick. I'll show you what's happening. Over here, you can see that it is rotating. And it's going to go try to get a lock on a satellite. You got to make sure that nobody stands in front of it, and you'll be all right. So it's trying to locate the satellites. And there's a really important thing you need to know here. There's a timing issue happening. Once it finds the satellite, it's only going to stay there for 45 seconds, and then it's going to move on to the next satellite. So we need to be ready to pull the power on the satellite dish. So we'll be watching this screen, and when it finds the satellite, it's going to tell you that it's locked, and you're going to hear a tone coming out of your television set. This should happen any second, I'm hoping. Be a little patient. Sometimes it takes longer than others. So my point is, and there we go, we just locked on to EchoStar 72 West, and we have a pretty good signal strength. Anything over 15 is great. At this point, we have 45 seconds before it moves on to the next satellite. We need to unplug the power to the dish. Now I pulled the power to the dish. We're done with applying electricity to the dish. It's locked on, and we can watch television. So we can just hit select on the done, and I just hit cancel until it gets out of the menu, and we're watching TV. It's that easy. Now, if the dish gets moved for any reason, you'll have to repeat this process. You basically go back into the menu, select 611, leave it highlighted on the done button, plug the power back in until you get your green bar here and it says EchoStar 72 West. Once it has that, you'll unplug the power again, and then you're back where you were before. So, try to keep pets away from it. Try to keep your children away from it. It's a pretty quick and easy setup. Now, for those of you that, when you're looking at the elevation, it's really important because you're probably never going to really end up on the elevation lines themselves. So, for example, on Dish 72 degree satellite, we were near 35. I chose 34 because we're a little bit north of that line. So if you end up not having much satellite strength and you want to try to improve that, you're going to have to go on the dish and adjust the alignment marker to a different degree, maybe 33 or maybe 35, up and down just a little bit, and then come back, plug the power in, wait about a minute, and you should see your bar either increase or decrease, and that's how you'll have to tweak it. So it's really not that hard. Takes a few minutes to set up, and then you're off and watching TV. So I really like the unit. It's a nice, cost-effective solution for those of us on a budget. Thanks for watching my video, and you have a great day.